Hi, I'm Neil and welcome to Trinity College. And we wanted to give you a bit of an update about where we are now. It's spring, it's sunny and lots is happening in the garden. I'm here by the new border. This is 100 metres that wasn't here last year, or at least what you saw here was very much more like a building site. Thanks to a lot of the hard work from the team, we're a 4-strong team headed up by Kate Burtonwood. We had volunteers involved and the design efforts of Chris Beardshaw. What we've now got is a very textured border, good for all year round interest. Lots of flowering activity has been going on since we first did a flower count, hence the clipboard. Back in winter, when we had about 90 plants in total flowering, we've just done another one and we've now got over 200, and I think that's probably going to grow quite quickly now with the weather how it is. Of particular interest when people come and see the border up close and have a good look, lots of varieties of euphorbia. We've got 5 or 6 different varieties of euphorbia. Particularly popular is one called Fireglow, for something a little bit different in the garden. But also natives, we've got native ornamental comfrey, for example, to provide that benefit for biodiversity and wildlife. So what we see here are plants, lots of plants that are on the RHS plant for pollinator list. So things that can really be backed by science and also punch above their weight in terms of attracting the insects in, the moths, the butterflies. Lovely camassia coming up just at the moment, which is perfect timing for something that attracts that sort of wildlife. I think what we're also seeing across the site is what else can we do to help wildlife? Because I think when we talk about biodiversity, everyone thinks flowering, length of flowering, variety of flowering, and that's a great place to start in terms of that breadth of interest. But the other crucial issue, one of the reasons why we see such a big decline in UK insects is loss of habitat. So that's the other thing we're trying to have in mind on this near 5-acre site as well. So across the front quad now, we're doing things a little bit differently to what you might see in a college. It's not just the neatly clipped lawn, which is a bit of a monoculture. We're trying to gradually peel that back and allow bits of the lawn to grow. So we've got 3 sections where we've stopped mowing, but just simply allowing the grass to grow a little bit longer. Some of the wildflowers, yes, weeds, we could call them, just to do their thing. Again, attracts the pollinators, but also gives them habitat to stay in. So you're going to get a couple of species of domestic butterflies that will just live on the long blade grass on its own. Back here on the impactful border, there's lots of plants to pull out, and as always, you might get asked the question, what's your favourite plant right now? And I think that's probably a bit bad, because it's a bit like asking a parent, what's your favourite child? And I'm going to break the rules because I probably should point out a massive mellifera that we've got here, a euphorbia, which is really popular, and you see them across the colleges, or maybe the cardoons that we've got up by the benches, because big structural pieces. But I'm going to cheat a little bit and go for a personal favourite, which is the Exocorda macrantha just behind us here. Mainly because I like plants that surprise you in a good way. They punch their weight, they do a bit more. And this thing has been flowering for about 6 weeks solid and doesn't really look like it's showing signs of letting up, but non-stop flowering, and it's been able to give us a bit of height into the border and a bit of a focal point of interest. We as a garden team are learning the border. It's still less than a year old, so it's very young. If you walk closely to the border's edge, you might notice a lot of cut-up stems and dead foliage. We're trying out something called chop and drop. So at the start of spring, we literally cut back all the old foliage, cut it up into small 15-centimetre pieces and laid it back around the base of the plants all along the edge. Basic principle of this is nothing too complicated, I suppose. It's about minimising waste and making use of the material you've already got. Over the course of the year, that should rot down and provide a bit of a natural mulch and ground cover to limit weeds. And the other benefit we've noticed is quite a lot of interesting insect life in there. So we've already had ladybirds and spiders and other things like to hide out just in and amongst the material that's been chopped and dropped. And if they're not hiding out there, then birds are coming down and taking it as nesting material. So for relatively little effort, it's something that we're going to do in the garden anyway in terms of tidying up. So why not chop and drop, leave it down, and it seems to be providing additional benefits. So that's something we'll hopefully look to do more of in the coming year. So really, I think the feeling we're left with is one of optimism. So optimism about what can be achieved in this garden space, optimism about how we can engage students and staff further, and optimism about what can be achieved in this lovely location, the centre of historic Oxford.